let me ask you all this, and please give me brief answers, because there are 5 of you, there's only 1 of me. Okay? If electric cars are so swell, how come we have to pay people to drive them?
The upfront costs of an electric vehicle are about $10,000 higher today than they are for an equivalent internal combustion
they're more
engine vehicle
expensive. Anything
today,
else?
but that cost is declining substantially.
Right.
And so this is a temporary intervention to help the auto industry strategically compete in global markets and to transition as
You
battery
didn't
costs
hear
fall.
my admonition, okay?
Sorry.
Doc, how about, if electric vehicles are so swell, how come we have to pay people to drive them?
I think sorry, Senator, I'll
I'm
staple away
sorry,
from.
I can't see the names.
Oh, it's Gross, Ms. Gross here. I'll defer to not comment on policy questions about incentives and so on. Maybe
Tell
pass
me
it
your
off to
name. I
Ms.
can't
Hinman.
see your name tag.
Gross? I can switch.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I can swivel it.
I apologize. Would you start over?
The hearing room was quiet, but the tension was unmistakable. With a calm voice and a sharp edge, Senator John Kennedy leaned into a question that cut through the usual policy talking points. Electric cars are often praised as the future of transportation. They are marketed as cleaner, smarter, and inevitable. But Kennedy wasn't interested in slogans or theories. He wanted a straight answer that everyday Americans could understand. Why, if electric cars are so great, does the government have to pay people to drive them? As witnesses adjusted their microphones, hesitation filled the room. Explanations followed, but clarity did not. Charts were referenced, studies were mentioned, and global competition was invoked. Yet, none of it addressed the core concern about cost. Kennedy pressed harder, grounding the discussion in household incomes and rising bills. This was no longer a debate about technology alone. It became a conversation about affordability, accountability, and trust. And from the very start, it was clear this question would not be easily dismissed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to all our witnesses. I'm sorry I was late. I was in another committee. How many of you drive an electric car, own an electric car? Okay. You gentlemen don't?
If you mean electric by a battery electric, no. If you mean plug-in electric, yes.
Okay. Of the 3 folks who raised their hands, how many do you own gasoline-powered cars at all? No?
No, Senator.
No, all electric. Okay. Let me ask you all this, and please give me brief answers, because there are 5 of you, there's only 1 of me. Okay? If electric cars are so swell, how come we have to pay people to drive them?
The upfront costs of an electric vehicle are about $10,000 higher today than they are for an equivalent internal combustion
they're
engine
more
vehicle
expensive. Anything
today,
else?
but that cost is declining substantially.
Right.
And so this is a temporary intervention to help the auto industry strategically compete in global markets and to transition as battery
You didn't
costs
hear
fall.
my admonition, okay?
Sorry.
Doc, how about, if electric vehicles are so swell, how come we have to pay people to drive them?
I think sorry, Senator, I'll
I'm
staple away
sorry,
from.
I can't see the names.
Oh, it's Gross, Ms. Gross here. I'll defer to not comment on policy questions about incentives and so on. Maybe
Tell
pass
me
it
your
off to
name. I
Ms.
can't
Hinman.
see your name tag.
Gross? I can switch.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I can swivel it.
I apologize. Would you start over?
I was just going to say I'd like to defer on policy grounds, not to talk about policy incentives and so on. Defer over to my
Why not?
colleague here, Ms. Hinman.
You don't believe in electric cars?
Oh, totally support electric vehicles and drive 3 of them myself.
So if they're so swell, how come we're having to pay people to drive them?
So just speaking personally, then, not representing my company at this point.
Sure.
Speaking personally.
Who's your company?
EPRI, the Electric Power Research Institute.
Oh, okay.
And I have to be careful about policy stepping into, wading too deeply into policy as an independent leader here. But when we think about, again, I just want to ditto what Dr. Jenkins said. This is an effort to compete
Yes, ma'am,
globally.
I know all that, but But how, if they're so swell, how come we have to pay people to drive them?
Well, maybe then the quick answer for me is I didn't take advantage of incentives, but I also bought used vehicles on the market. I love it. They're wonderful to drive. And so-
Okay.
Senator, similar for myself. We
What's your
purchased Maureen Hinman.
Damn,
My hair's longer in my picture, sorry.
I'm sorry, I don't even know who I'm talking to. Go ahead, Ms. Hinman.
I did want to follow up with my colleague, Ms. Gross. I purchased my first EV, fully
Yes,
electric.
ma'am, but
in
if they're so swell,
2015.
how come we have to pay people to drive them?
Well, I purchased, I can only speak for myself, but we purchased our first vehicle in 2015 because it was easier to charge, cheaper to drive. It drives better, faster, smoother. There's no muck on the bottom of our garage. And frankly, when I had my first child, some of the safety features were just better.
But here's what I'm sorry, you're not answering my question. How many vehicles, how many cars do we have in the United States?
280,
This lady right here, in the middle. I'm sorry, if I could see your name, I wouldn't just point to you.
If I could, I'd like to defer to my colleague who
Well, I'd
has
like to hear
better.
your answer, okay?
How many calls?
How many cars are there?
295 million?
Okay, and what percentage are electric vehicles?
1.6.
Okay, hold up that chart. Here's where all the electric vehicles are. California loves them. The West Coast loves them. Everybody else is kind of lukewarm. Okay, I'm trying to understand why. But let me move on to this. Let me ask these two gentlemen. I think the reason is because they're more expensive. And people, when they drive a car, like it to run. And when it runs out of electricity, it stops, and they can't find a place to charge them. So let me ask these two gentlemen, I don't want to be unfair. So it's clear we got a long way to go. We got 283 million cars in America, and we got 3.3 million electric vehicles. We got a long way to go. And at least these three folks think that we need to take taxpayer money and give enough money to American people so they'll walk away from gas cars and drive electric vehicles. How much is that going to cost? I'm going to ask them in a second if I have time. But how much do you think it will cost for us to basically bribe every American to drive an electric car?
well, Senator, excuse me, Dave Sweeter with the Alliance for Automotive Innovation. I would just underscore your original question with this. There's really two things at play as it relates to what's
How
happening.
much money do you think it'll cost to
Costs are
bribe the American people enough to make them drive electric cars, to move those numbers?
electrification's increasing as it relates to cost. Only a fraction of currently eligible
How much do you
vehicles
think
are
it'll
eligible
cost?
for the federal tax credit. So
How much do you think it'll cost, David?
Senator, I think I quoted earlier
I'm
that
calling on you, sir.
Apologies.
How much do you think it'll cost?
it ultimately depends on
You
consumer
don't know,
adoption.
do you?
Senator John Kennedy closed the exchange by doing what many Americans wish their leaders would do more often, asking plain questions that demand plain answers. He made it clear that supporting innovation does not mean writing blank checks with taxpayer money. Kennedy's frustration reflected the concerns of working families who feel every increase in energy and transportation costs. He reminded the room that good intentions do not cancel out real-world consequences. Policies, no matter how ambitious, must be judged by what they cost and what they deliver. Again and again, the witnesses spoke about future benefits, but none could clearly explain the price tag. Kennedy stood firm on the idea that accountability is not obstruction, it is responsibility. He emphasized that America does not have unlimited money, and government spending should reflect that reality. For him, affordability matters just as much as innovation. He challenged the idea that Americans should simply trust experts without seeing the numbers. Kennedy's argument resonated because it was rooted in everyday life, not academic theory. He spoke for people who cannot afford expensive experiments disguised as policy. By demanding measurable benefits and transparent costs, he defended common-sense governance. His message was simple and direct. Leadership means asking hard questions, not avoiding them. In that moment, Kennedy voiced the frustration of millions who want progress, but not at any price.